Because there's like 20 Eximus, slightly annoying. They're all stacking up their auras and everything. A 1.9 mil tick I just saw. Yeah. Look at that. The thing is her prismatic gem, so her rainbow procs like every status in the game without secondary encumber. So that's one way to get them all up. And let's just nuke, get out of the Jade Light, because everything except shield gating just dies to it. And yeah, look at that. Not bad. This is what I was talking about with the speed frame. Be water, my friend.
Be water, my friend.
And look at that, Jade makes things explode as well. Who would have thought? Especially if you use her as a weapons platform. 1.4 million ticks without even using our secret technique. Okay, that's some ridiculous damage with Jade. Yeah, good thing is she heals, buffs the squad. Ember can also fire her fireballs while you're firing Glaxion, because it's one-handed. So that's pretty sweet. And look at that. Melting the entire group very, very quickly. Toughest enemies we can spawn in here. Corrupted Heavy Gunner Eximus times 20 or times 19. Hey everyone, let's take a look at what this new Rainbow Nuke setup can do in Void Cascade with Frost and the Nautilus Sentinel, Verglas priming automatically, and backup weapons, Tenet Grigori and crit Laetum. Really nice setup, and I actually have a lot of confidence that this setup can go to level cap. But I want to see if the Glaxion will fall off at some point. Yeah, let's charge up some energy and instant armor strip. Look at that, frozen. Nice. We also have a lot of overguard with this setup, which is quite handy. Not that we need it, because we have adaptation and quick thinking and a ton of armor through health conversion as well. That's what that one golden orb is that's cycling us. As if that wasn't enough defensive layers, we have Frost's new and improved snow globe. You can shoot into it, and just look at the kind of damage we're putting out with this meta Rainbow Nuke setup. Annihilating enemies super quickly, super quickly. This is also a nice way to stay somewhat invulnerable while your operator does his thing. You place Frostikins inside those two bubbles, and anything trying to shoot you will have a really hard time. And yeah, it's just a great build and very fun, I find. Okay, that Thrax was bugged, capping the point through underneath the map. Frost synergizes really well with it. As you saw, 500k tick, and this weapon fires 12 times a second. So we're pumping out tons of damage. It's hard to say exactly how much, but I would guess between 2 or 3 million on the low end AoE, and 10 to 20 on the high end, especially when stuff is all stacked up. It does some very, very good damage. So, yeah, the Sentinel, as I said, is auto-priming. We summon a bunch, and look at that. It's a clone that's just firing and freezing. That's not even my ability, that's the Sentinel. Lovely little trick with Frost. You can actually fire at the same time as you're using his skill. So zoom, look at the armor ammo go down, and we're shooting and activating the ability. Really good. Okay, let's cap the point. Yeah, I would be interested in doing this on a level cap run solo even, but I just don't have the time for it right now. But we'll see. We'll get around to it one of these days. Let's annihilate the angel too for some good times. Insta-gib angel. Just look at how quickly they're getting wrecked. Oh, he's there, trying to cap the point, being all cheeky and stuff. No. Okay, let's kill the Void Angel. Get Nourish back up on our Frost, and there's the Void Angel. Thanks to overguard, it did nothing to us, and look at that, some pretty good damage on the Angel. Void Strike, insta-gib, or pretty much insta-gib, before it gets its shields up anyway. Some more nourishing good times, good fun. Arcane Avenger isn't up like 10% of the time, but you're nearly always getting hit at least once, and that's realistically all you need to keep it up. Did it trigger its thing? I guess not. And just look at our overguard, it's pretty sick. Okay, get some Mage's Melt stacks up for some nice damage. If this happens to you, actually stay zoomed in and then Void Dash, and it's much easier to hit the points. Yeah, as you see. Definitely get Eternal Eradicate, Eternal Onslaught, and Mage's Melt. Oops, I did a oopsie. Used Void Strike, and now I can't stealth. Damn. Oh well, no problem. And final phase of the Angel, let's kill it quick. Tenet Glaxion doing its thing. Oh, there's a ghost bugging out. No you don't. And yeah, I hope you can see the kill potential of the Glaxion now with Photon Overcharge, giving us tons of energy as well, and I'll demonstrate why Tenet Grigori and the Laetum are amazing weapons as backup weapons. The Tenet Grigori doesn't lose combo counter while it's sheathed, so it's pretty amazing with that. You do want to put some dexterity mods onto it. Did I even pick up the angel loot? I don't think I did. Oh well. Let's get out of here though. This is enough of a proof of concept that it annihilates mobs very efficiently and effectively in a fun way. Instant armor strip. Not that we even need it. I'll let my pets do the next armor strip actually. Oh, so Nourish fell off and we instantly do 4 times less damage. But let's let our pets, yeah, so there you go, Corrosive. And they got insta-gibbed. Yeah, let's get out of here. We need the green marker. The reason I don't have my 6 times combo anymore on the Grigori is because I have no combo duration mods at the moment, which was a mistake, but it's still good enough, definitely. Even if you don't stack up high combo. Look at this. That's his special effect. It shoots out a scythe, a spinning, ricocheting glaive scythe. That the highest crit I saw recently was like 200 million. I was running Naramon as well to make it extra easy to crit. But yeah, even if you don't have any of those backup weapons, the Glaxion does a fine job. Can we get out? I guess we can't get out yet. Spawn a snow globe or 2 to make it extra safe. Mage's lockdown as well. And when it's doing its scythe leap attack, you can actually move behind it, it won't hit you. There we go, we can get out. Look at how it just melts crowds, and we have tons of energy to work with thanks to everything being frozen. Pretty easy to keep spamming Avalanche. Yeah. Glaxion is very nice with Frost. Nourish is pretty perfect too for keeping high energy, because it doubles the amount of energy you're getting. Look at that, we just got 3 energy orbs at once, and we're almost energy capped. And like I was saying about health conversion, the only thing that can kill you is Jade Light if you're super lazy. So health conversion, the stacks do not fade quickly at all. In fact, there's a like window where the stack will not fade at all for 4 seconds after you've been hit, and by that time you'll be getting the health orbs to refresh it. So anyway, I was saying about Jade Light, that's the only thing that can kill you sub level 500 or 1000 or so, because Jade Light ends up doing millions of damage if you just stand still. So it can kill everyone, even Rhino with like millions of Rhino skin, iron skin. But yeah, everything else, you know, and I like playing this game in a very movement heavy way, because that's just my playstyle, and even with a defensive frame like Frost, you can still move a lot, and you're benefited by moving a lot. Like, look at that, you have 3 that you can now shoot into, and you're triple protected. So yeah, they tried to move into it, and they can't because they just kept frozen. So and then you get energy, yeah, GG. Alright, so let's look at the actual builds and what is making this madness possible, this like Incarnon level damage. I do have quite a few format that I've thrown into the Tenet Glaxion, but it was well worth it. Yeah, so here's the build straight away. Go over the Glaxion first and why it works so well. So it might seem a bit weird that we only have Magnetic and Blast, and we're running Galvanized Aptitude, but Frost and the other frames that I'm going to show later, and this isn't even max ranked, so yeah, Frost is putting Cold on there, so we're instantly getting, like, Serration only gives us 165 at max rank. If you put 2 or 3 status types and you have 2 kills, that's already equal or higher than Serration, so that's why I don't have it on there. And Primary Merciless also kind of overwrites or cancels the multiplicative portion of this. And anyway, moving on. Prime cryo rounds, not an absolute necessity. You can just put normal cryo rounds on for 75% less damage. You know, it's not that big a deal. The main portion of the damage is coming through things like crit damage multiplication and high multi-shot. We have 230% more multi-shot, so 150 more with 5 stacks, which we always have. And yeah, the crit damage multiplier, especially once we start getting orange crits, just goes through the roof. Sinister Reach I can really recommend, because with the feature of the Tenet Glaxion, we're chaining to 4 enemies at once, very similar to Torrid, but yeah, you don't need an Incarnon for it. With the feature, the Sinister Reach, the beam length is then chaining to a lot more enemies. There is no galvanized acceleration or whatever it is, so this is the next best thing, because that's not an option. And if you want a little bit more crit chance, you could also put critical delay on, but I found that Point Strike is better because it's only a little bit more crit chance, and with Arcane Avenger and Galvanized Scope, you're getting orange crits anyway. So let's now look at the Frost build. Cast speed, some strength for instant and full armor strip, and I have a little backup health, but you really don't need it. Nourish over Frost's 2, because you don't need to be casting 2, really. I think his 2 can't be cast while you're firing a weapon, but the 1 can. The 1 got super buffed. Also, it like freezes and has a big radius, and yeah, it's just great. Yeah, let's look at the actual Frost mods. Here they are. Brief Respite, because this gets us shield gating decently, and we have nothing else to use our energy on. Like, sometimes you can spam Avalanche and you still have a lot of energy left, or sometimes there's only like 1 or 2 enemies and a quick freeze is enough. Yeah, the tankiness is absurd with this build. Frost's passive got reworked. I have a whole video about Frost and Ember. Look at that if you like. Adaptation, health conversion, quick thinking, insanely tanky because we have up to like 1500 energy when all of these are rolling. Umbrella Intensifier put on for the max armor reduction, and Biting Frost is also what's giving us when we need it. Most of the time we don't even need it. Those orange and up to red crits for millions of damage per tick of Glaxion damage. So as mentioned in the run, we're doing like 12 shots per second, and if one tick is doing like 500k or 1 million or 2 million, yeah, you do the math, it gets crazy. The highest I've seen was like a 5 million tick, so pretty nuts. Overguard does give us some status immunity and more importantly knockdown immunity, and I think it got reworked, this augment, because I don't remember seeing through your armor the overguard you gain is buffed. So yeah, we do end up getting sort of Dante level overguard with this thing. I kind of mocked it recently and said overguard is overrated, but it's really good. Arcane Battery is what's giving us that crazy amount of energy because we get such huge armor, and Arcane Avenger is what gets us those easy guaranteed yellow and most of the time orange crits. Archon Flow, you can run Prime Flow. You don't actually even get that many cold kills, but my Prime Flow isn't maxed because I'm not obsessive compulsive. Prime Sure-Footed you can definitely replace with Handspring. I just put it in there because I think it's good. Let's move on to why Madurai. In survival modes and high enemy density modes, the casting speed and sling strength is actually better than, say, Zenuric. Even though Zenuric would give you something like 15 energy per second or more through Wellspring, and gives you a little strength, I just feel Madurai is way better because you can also insta-kill the ghosts and angels and so on, and yeah, definitely don't take Unaru with this loadout. Naramon is like, if Madurai didn't exist, I'd take Naramon for plus 200% weapon damage and crit damage and infinite combo and so on. So here's the Laetum. I didn't even end up using it, but this thing deletes Acolytes. Acolytes are immune to this evolution. It does nothing to them, it just does normal damage, so you're not critting and you're not getting the 2k% damage bonus. So that's why you should take this one and mod it for crit and aim at the head, especially easy on frozen and cold enemies. And yeah, it's just great. Even easier for priming would be like Dex and lining a few melee kills, or not priming so to speak, but priming the gun. Yeah, so that would work well. And here's the Tenet Grigori. You get this from Railjack from running Void Storms in the Veil pretty quickly if you have a good Railjack loadout. Basically just take Protea to... You don't need that, but it doesn't hurt and it's cheap. Yeah, just take Protea to your Railjack, and her dispensary, or anything you subsume it onto, gives you infinite energy on your Railjack, and then you can spam the missile strikes and you get the Tenet Grigori really quick. The ricocheting glaive disc like punches through enemies, and if you group them all up with your Sentinel with Cordon from Nautilus, then like I said, I've seen like 200 mil crits with this thing, and it's not even modded that incredibly, and this Riven has finisher damage, like we're never doing finishers really. But yeah, it's just really good. Kind of the most important part of the build, and you can swap out the frames you're using even, but the Nautilus with grouping enemies up through Cordon, and very important that you put the mod in the first slot so it has priority to activate it. Yeah, Cordon increases the kill capacity of the Glaxion, because when the Glaxion can chain its blast damage, it will do that 300% detonation at 10 stacks or on kills that much more often, and the two will proc each other through Manifold Bond, because as long as we have 3 status types, which we do all the time, because of the Verglas, which I'll cover in a moment, the Sentinel weapon, we're resetting this all the time, grouping the enemies up together. Incidentally, another defensive layer through Guardian, pretty immortal. There's Frost, shield gating without even having to do much except kill the enemies. And the clones are being generated, which also drop energy orbs. Yay! Momentous Bond gives us a bit more random status damage and like status type from killing Eximus. It can even absorb, if you have a Hound, you can even absorb the Jade Eximus power, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, you don't need to. It's pretty immortal. Like sometimes Sentinel dies through AoE damage in groups at like level cap. But with this setup, it's immortal. And Assault mode is also very important because it won't fire all the time without this, but as soon as there's an enemy, if you have Assault mode on, they'll just start melting everything and freezing everything instantly. So let's go over the weapon. One last thing, Synth Deconstruct, extremely useful because we're proccing health orbs, which keep our health conversion stacked up to full all the time. So yeah, I've like min-maxed this loadout. It really is one of the best. And here's how I've modded Verglas. You could probably change a few things here if you wanted to. I'm not even sure if the punch through makes Verglas chain to other targets or not, but that's kind of also what we have clones for. The important point is cold, radiation, and corrosive, so that we have those 3 additional status types up at all times. And Shivering Contagion, like combined with Cordon, we're freezing. We're stopping enemies from doing anything. At least we're slowing them. Like some targets cannot be frozen, Necromex and Acolytes, but we're basically freezing everything just through this combination alone, which is sick. Galvanized Aptitude, I think it works. It definitely increases the status a bit, but even if it doesn't increase the damage, we're not using the Verglas for damage here primarily. And yeah, that's basically enough about the Sentinel weapon. Let's actually go and test this Rainbow Nuke, as I like to call it, with Frost with some different Warframes. I have a list prepared for you with different frames that synergize really well with it. And I hope one of these days soon I'll do a level cap run with the Glaxion, because its damage potential and the way it just makes Steel Path look like normal star chart promises that it can do that. So the next frame that we're going to take a look at is Hydroid with this Rainbow Nuke, and I'm tempted to say it works even better than Frost, but really similar build. You have innate status immunity through Tidal Impunity, also turning Hydroid into a speed frame because you can spam Tidal Surge, which in itself is meme-worthy and very fun. Fun when like Nezha and Volt or Gauss or whoever are saying like, let's race between themselves, and then you're there first at the exit. Rousing Plunder gives you a ton of corrosive damage and armor, which is why Arcane Battery works very well with Hydroid as well. So yeah, health conversion, quick thinking adaptation on Hydroid 2. Some shield gating because you can spam his Tempest Barrage while firing the Glaxion as well. Everything else is the same, so let's just see how well it annihilates enemies right here. Corrupted Bombard Eximus. Some pretty tough enemies, so like let's use our Tidal Surge straight away and steal some armor. And look at this, they just melt, like zoom. They just get melted. Really nice. They're dead and they don't even know it. That's the thing. And yeah, I had to reload the Glaxion. So those are like by far the toughest enemies you can spawn in here. I can show you the Corrupted Heavy Gunners as well, but those guys have more like insta-kill potential because they are Bombards. So pretty nutty enemies. And this build just makes short work of them, you know, just no challenge at all. And this is what I was talking about with the speed frame. Be water, my friend. And let's steal their armor, let's nourish, and cast a few Tempest Barrage. Like I said, the Jade Light is the only thing that can kill you, and it just does millions of damage after a moment when it touches you. So just stay out of its range and you're good. And usually you have to get an Incarnon to do this kind of damage. And like I was saying, we're getting ticks for, with this build, it's like close to millions. Oh, Nourish faded for viral damage. But yeah, basically everything dies too quickly for us to even see the hidden potential of this, which is why I think we need to go to level cap with mad damage. And our Sentinels are just freezing. Dagath also works really well with this because of Dagath's extra crit damage and the way Dagath works in general. The new augment is sick with her too. And yeah, we're actually redirecting the damage that we're doing through the interaction between Doom and Weird Scythes, or Word Scythes, whatever you want to call them. Don't even need to use Rakali's Cavalry, but the reason Glaxion is a great choice for Dagath is Dagath has high energy consumption. So this is a pure like shield gating build. So defensively it's a bit more high maintenance, but very fun. Very, very fun. Let's go and test it right away, now that you've seen the build. And I'll just demo, I don't think you can spawn acolytes in here, but I'll just demo what the Laetum can do on one group spawn. So let's doom them all, go Spectral Spirit. So our cavalry is already killing everything, but yeah, I mean, look at that. We can't run Arcane Avenger because we can't really afford to get hit a lot on Dagath. And I don't think you can get hit in Spectral Spirit. But you can also spam these abilities while firing the Tenet Glaxion. Oh wait, no. Weird Scythe is an exception. So if you're shooting, then it gets interrupted because it's a two-hand cast. But yeah, let's demo the Laetum and why I advise taking it. And quickly annihilate everything before we lose our Spectral Spirit. Yeah. So for some reason the damage attenuation, like I was saying, on Demolists or Necromechs and on Acolytes and so on makes a backup weapon very favorable when you're running Tenet Glaxion. This is slower because it's a single target weapon with a little bit of AoE, but yeah, I'd say it's a great choice. And in case you're wondering about this new simulacrum, it's from the factions. We got 6 new simulacrums, so that's pretty cool. Let's move on with our next frame Rainbow Nuke combo. And like I was saying, the Verglas is the same on every single Warframe. So we're fulfilling the condition that's needed with Photon Overcharge, the augment for the Glaxion, which drops those energy orbs like crazy. 20% chance per enemy. It feels higher. I don't know. It feels a lot higher because quite often I'll see like 3 or 4 energy orbs at the same time. So let's take a look at Jade with the Glaxion. And I've also stuck Nourish on her to turn her into a weapons platform. Nourish also buffs your squad, so that's pretty great. And with the way Symphony of Mercy and the Power of the 7 work, it will grant a big boost to Nourish the way it buffs, so that's pretty great. Also running Avenger, Combat Discipline, Brief Respite for some shield gating, and a lot of health through Arcane Blessing. Health conversion, adaptation for supreme tankiness and just not having to worry about anything. You can really chill. Cast speed, because you don't really need anything else. Some ability strength for quicker full strip through her 3. And a bit of equilibrium for good measure. The backup weapon I chose on Jade for a change was the Prisma Angstrum with these evolutions. This is an underrated little pistol. And we've gone ahead and put secondary Encumber. Won't be able to test it in the simulacrum, even though that's what it's designed for, because this thing just kills on its own in Incarnon form. But theoretically, you can proc every status in the game super quickly with this, due to Very high fire rate in Incarnon form, can make it even higher. And then if you have, I think, 16 status types all on the enemy at the same time, otherwise like use Dante for that kind of insanity, or Citrine, then the Glaxion will do something like 1,000% more damage, which you just don't need, but you can get it. I think it's 1,200% if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, let's go test what we can achieve with Jade now that everyone's getting her, and yeah, enjoy ourselves. This is the next new simulacrum. I think it's from Parent Sequence. So buff ourselves, get some energy, get some weapon damage, and look at that, Jade makes things explode as well. Who would have thought? Especially if you use her as a weapons platform. 1.4 million ticks without even using our secret technique. Okay, that's some ridiculous damage with Jade. Yeah, good thing is she heals, buffs the squad, and can do a lot of crazy things. Oh, there's still some enemies alive apparently. Okay, okay. Tanky boys. So let's see what the Prisma Angstrum can do, just because I hyped this weapon up a little bit. It's nuts. Charges on normal shots, and look at that damage, just beautiful. If the fire procs didn't keep sending us to outer space. Jade's 2, if you activate it on shield mode, actually gives you a little iframe, a little shield gate action. And look at that, millions of damage with the Prisma Angstrum as well. It is of course an Incarnon, but you can buy it because Cavallero sells it all the time for 120 plat. If you have some plat spare, I'd say it's not wasted, otherwise just wait for the right week. The actual build, mod build, so that you can pause and take a look. And here's the shards really quick. Citrine, also really good with Glaxion. Not quite as good and pretty annoying to earn her. So in my opinion, not quite as good as like the other frames I've showcased, but still good. Thing with Citrine, unless you subsume a weapon buff onto her, is that you have to hit the crystals. Unfortunately, when you're playing her with the crystals, the chains of the Tenet Glaxion do not go to other targets. They just, like, you shoot the crystals on one and you don't hit the other. So you're only red creasing one target. But it's still nice because the blast damage on one target then stacks up on everything. And the other thing is her prismatic gem, so her rainbow procs like every status in the game without secondary encumber. So that's one way to get them all up. And let's just nuke, get out of the Jade Light, because everything except shield gating just dies to it. And yeah, look at that. Not bad. I wouldn't grind Citrine just for this, but she's extremely useful for lots of other reasons. And there are different ways that you can build her, so you could take a look at those. Who else did I have on my bonus list? Let's take a look at Ember. I've actually put Fireball Frenzy on my Ember with Roar. But you can also build her for her new and improved Overguard from Healing Flame. Quite good too, but yeah, I like her with Fireball Frenzy, but we have more damage. And ouch. Jade Light while we got knocked down. The knockdown protection from Overguard starting to seem like a very, very good idea. Not Jade. Ember can also fire her fireballs while you're firing Glaxion because it's one-handed. So that's pretty sweet. And look at that. Melting the entire group very, very quickly. Toughest enemies we can spawn in here. Corrupted Heavy Gunner Eximus times 20 or times 19. And Armor Strip, time to die, guys. Oh, come on, stop knocking me down. This is YouTube. You're going on YouTube, you should be happy, guys. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's the kind of damage Ember can pump out with this. I think Roar faded even, so she can do higher. And just look at how her energy maintenance is no problem. And she can also maintain spamming fireballs with the Glaxion, so that's really nice. Yeah, pretty fun. Okay, so hey everyone, I've done my best to theorycraft how much damage we would actually be getting out of this thing, and just with the weapons like internal modding and so on overframe, the calculator is listing it as 234k sustained DPS, and I've now done some calculations with all of these different status types and the effects of the galvanized mods and how much damage we'd actually be getting out of 6 additional status types, 480%. So viral gives us 325% more damage, cold gives us a ton more, and then the 480 from aptitude results in around 7.3 mil average DPS. And the burst, you can't really see it because there are no test dummies with like infinite HP, but in theory we should be getting anywhere between like 10 and 20 million blast eruption burst damage. Hope you really enjoyed the video. If you'd leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, anything like that, it massively helps the channel out, and I hope you can see I've put quite a lot of effort into all of this, and yeah, just aim to make good Warframe content. All the best to you. Hope you enjoy the summer.